Okay, so get this, right? I'm reading this article, and it's about this real estate agent who closed this, like, huge GE deal. It was like something out of a movie, and they did it all thanks to AI. Apparently, they used it to, like, find this amazing property, one that wasn't even on the market.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
It really blew my mind. I knew AI was making, some waves in real estate, but this was next level. I've actually even been jotting down some of my own thoughts about AI and real estate. But honestly, with all the information out there, it's hard to, like, see the full picture.
Yeah, totally. There's so much buzz, it's hard to sort through it all. That's a pretty incredible story, though. It really highlights how AI is kind of changing things up. We've got this article here, how AI-powered real estate agents are dominating the competition. It's from the National Association of Realtors. Maybe we can break it down together along with those notes you have, see what we can uncover.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. The article goes into a few key areas. Lead generation, client nurturing, even property diligence. But first, let's zoom out a little. What's the big picture here? Why should we even care about AI in real estate?
Right. Well, the real estate industry, it's facing some pretty big challenges right now. There's more competition than ever. Plus, the market's been shifting, so there's this pressure on agents to, like, really step up their game. The article actually talks about this sense of urgency. Like, it's not even about keeping up anymore. It's about survival.
Wow.
But the interesting thing is that AI is coming in as a pretty powerful solution, and it's actually allowing agents to work smarter, not harder, if that makes sense.
So instead of, like, replacing agents altogether, like some people might think, AI is actually giving them, like, superpowers.
Exactly. You can think of it as this, like, toolkit, one that can automate those, boring tasks and give you these incredible insights, and it can also really improve that client experience.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Let's get into the specifics.
Yeah.
So the article, it starts with lead generation, which, as we all know, can be a real pain point for agents. So how is AI, how's it changing that whole first step?
Well, it's all about finding the right leads, you know, and at the right time, of course. See, traditional lead generation, it's kind of like throwing darts in the dark.
Yeah.
You're spending hours cold calling, sending out generic emails, just hoping to, connect with someone who might maybe be interested.
Yeah.
But AI flips the script entirely.
Interesting.
There are these platforms like Scout, which the article mentions. They actually use data analysis to identify those potential clients, the ones who are, already kind of showing interest in certain types of properties or maybe neighborhoods.
So instead of just going after anyone and everyone, you're really focusing on the people who are, like, actually most likely to become clients. Okay, that sounds super efficient, but how does Scout actually do that? I mean, how do they get that personalized?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So Scout, it doesn't just send out, like, mass emails. It uses this thing called natural language processing. And it integrates with CRM data to really tailor every message to that individual person who's receiving it. It's kind of like having this, like, personal assistant who crafts the perfect pitch for each person.
That is really impressive. No more generic emails ending up in the spam folder.
But I mean, doesn't that kind of automation risk, feeling impersonal? Or even, I don't know, a little creepy?
That's a great question, and it's definitely a balance that, that developers are always trying to get right. The goal isn't to replace that human interaction, really, but to just make that initial outreach more relevant and engaging. Think about it this way. If you were looking to buy a home, wouldn't you rather get an email that speaks to what you need, what you're interested in, instead of some generic message that feels like it was sent to, like, 1,000 other people? Yeah, that's a good point. It's about cutting through all that noise and making, a real connection right from the start. So with AI doing all those initial steps, what does that free up the agent to actually do?
That's the best part. It lets them focus on what they're really good at. Things like building relationships, providing that expert advice, and just, like, really guiding their clients through the whole process of buying or selling a home. All those, like, mundane and repetitive tasks, they're taken care of. Which leaves more time for the human element of real estate.
It's like AI is giving agents back the gift of time, allowing them to be more present and attentive to their clients.
Exactly. And that shift, towards a more personalized, relationship-focused approach, that's what's really exciting about the future of real estate. But lead generation, that's just the first step. Once you've got those potential clients, the next challenge is really nurturing those relationships and turning them into loyal customers. Maybe we can dive into how AI is changing that ongoing process next.
Let's do it. This is where it gets really interesting for me. I'm always curious to see how agents can, stay top of mind with their clients without getting bogged down in all those follow-ups and reminders.
Well, imagine you had an assistant, one who could handle all of that for you, making sure that every client feels valued and well taken care of, even when you're busy with other stuff. That's where platforms like Verse come in. They're like a personal concierge for your client relationships.
Verse, oh yeah, that's the one the article mentioned. So how does that actually work? Does it just send out like automated messages, or is there more to it?
Oh, it's way more sophisticated than just simple automation. Verse uses something called conversational AI to interact with clients. It can schedule appointments, answer questions, even give updates on properties they might be interested in. And the key here is that it does all this while maintaining this really natural human-like tone.
So it's not just about sending out those generic reminders or blasts. It's about really engaging in actual conversations and building that trust and rapport. But how do you make sure that these AI-powered interactions don't sound robotic or scripted?
Yeah, that's where the conversational part of the AI comes in. These platforms are actually designed to learn from every interaction, and they can adapt their responses and even their communication style to match, each individual client's preferences. So basically, the more they're used, the more personalized and intuitive they become.
So it's not like a one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah.
It's about tailoring that whole experience to each client, to their personality, their communication style. Wow, that's pretty impressive.
It is. And what's really cool is that while Verse is handling those client interactions, you have all this time freed up to focus on the more strategic parts of your business.
Okay.
You can spend more time analyzing those market trends, researching properties, and even crafting those really personalized recommendations for your clients.
Yep. It's almost like having this secret weapon that lets you be in multiple places at once, nurturing all those relationships and staying ahead of the curve. I'm really starting to see how all this ties together. AI is not just about automating tasks. It's about giving agents the power to work smarter.
Yeah.
And provide a level of service that wasn't even possible before.
Exactly. And that actually brings us to the third key area the article talks about, property diligence. This is where AI's ability to analyze data and, find those hidden insights really comes in handy.
Property diligence. Okay, that's the one I'm the least familiar with, I think. I'm really curious to hear how AI is transforming that part of an agent's work.
Well, you know how in real estate knowledge is power, right?
Right. Yeah.
But getting all that knowledge, all those crucial details about a property, that can be incredibly time-consuming.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, agents often spend hours just going through public records, browsing websites, just trying to put it all together. But AI is changing all that.
So instead of manually searching through mountains of data, AI can do all the heavy lifting for you.
Exactly. Platforms like RealReports, which the article mentions, act like this central hub for everything about a property, They pull in data from all sorts of sources, public records, market trends, climate risk assessments, even hyperlocal insights.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of like having this massive research library right there at your fingertips, but with this AI-powered librarian who can instantly give you the exact information you need.
That's amazing. Instead of spending hours digging through all that paperwork and, clicking through websites, you can get everything you need in seconds. But how do you know that all that data is, accurate and reliable?
Oh, that's a really good question. It's something the developers take really seriously. RealReports and those other platforms, they use these really strict data verification processes just to make sure everything's accurate. They're also constantly updating their databases, so they're reflecting the latest market trends and regulatory changes.
So it's not just about having access to information. It's about having access to the right information, presented in a way that's easy to understand and use. That's where the real value is.
Absolutely. And just think about what that means for the client. With AI, you can answer any question they have right away, confidently. You become the go-to expert, the one who has all the answers.
That level of expertise and responsiveness, that must be such a huge advantage in today's market.
Oh, it definitely is. Clients want to feel like their agent is, knowledgeable, like they're on top of everything. And AI lets you give them that level of service in a way that just wasn't possible before.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing the bigger picture now. AI isn't just a bunch of, fancy tools. It's a fundamental shift in how real estate works. It's about empowering agents, making the client experience better, and just making that whole process smoother, faster, more efficient.
You got it. And honestly, we've only just scratched the surface. There's still so much more to explore, like how these AI tools are changing agents' workflows, but also the ethical side of things.
Mhm.
All those ethical considerations that come with this level of technology. What do you think? Ready to dive in a little deeper?
Absolutely. This is getting really interesting. Let's keep going. All right, yeah, ready to go deeper. We talked about like the big picture, but how do these tools actually work? Let's get into the details.
Okay, yeah. Remember those key areas we talked about? Lead generation, client nurturing, and property diligence. Let's see how AI is really transforming each part of an agent's work.
Yeah, sounds good. We were just talking about Real Reports and how it can pull up all that property data so fast. Can you give me like an example, a real world example of how an agent might use that?
Sure, yeah. Imagine you're an agent, right? And you're showing a property to a potential buyer. They seem really interested, but they're a little worried about the neighborhood. Maybe the schools aren't great, or it's too far from parks or something. In the past, you would have had to like scramble to find that information, maybe even schedule another meeting.
Yeah, I can see how that would like slow things down
Yeah.
and maybe even make the buyer lose interest.
Exactly. But with Real Reports, you can pull up all that info instantly,
Right.
right there on your phone or tablet. You can show them school ratings, nearby parks, even walkability scores. It's like having, like a virtual encyclopedia of the whole neighborhood.
That's so cool. It turns like a potentially awkward moment into a chance uh, to show off your expertise.
Right.
You're not just selling a house, you're selling a lifestyle.
Exactly. And remember, Real Reports can do even more than that. It can pull up those hyperlocal market trends too, so you get insights into property values, recent sales, even the potential um, for appreciation in the future.
That's got to be super valuable, especially for buyers who are looking for an investment. But with all this data, do agents still need to like know their local markets?
It's a good question. AI can definitely help an agent's knowledge, but it can't replace that human expertise. Think of it this way. AI gives you the raw data, but the agent, they're the ones who interpret it, connect the dots, and give it context for their clients.
So it's more like a partnership. AI gives the info and the agent gives the insight and guidance.
Exactly. A good agent can look at those trends, use their local knowledge, and help their clients make smart decisions that help them reach their goals.
Now, maybe we can switch gears a little and talk about how AI is changing client nurturing. We talked about platforms like Verse earlier, but I'm curious, what do you think about how they work in real life?
Yeah, I'd love to see how that conversational AI actually works. Okay, so picture this. You just showed some properties to a potential buyer. They're interested, but not ready to make an offer. In the past, you might have sent a follow-up email or maybe called, just trying to keep the conversation going.
Oh, I've totally been there. And sometimes those follow-ups are, I don't know, a little awkward,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're not sure like where the client is at.
Right. But with Verse, you can set up these automated messages, and they're tailored to the specific interaction you just had. So let's say the buyer really liked, I don't know, a big kitchen or a huge backyard. Verse can send a message highlighting other properties with those features.
So it's not just like a generic checking in email. It shows that you were like really listening to them.
Exactly. And here's the really cool part. Verse can actually track what the client's doing online too, like what properties they're looking at, articles they're reading, even social media posts about real estate.
Whoa, that's pretty intense. Isn't that a little, I don't know, intrusive?
That's a good point. And it's important to be, upfront with clients about how these tools are being used. But the goal is to give them a more personalized experience. If they're already looking at properties online, it makes sense to, send them recommendations that match what they're interested in.
Yeah, okay, I see your point. It's about adding value, not just like spamming them with random stuff. But what about those times when a client needs like a real person?
Yeah.
Can AI handle those sensitive conversations?
That's a great question. And honestly, AI is still developing. Platforms like Verse are super smart, but they're not meant to like completely replace human interaction. There are always going to be times when a client needs to talk to an agent directly. Maybe they have a complicated question, or they're feeling overwhelmed, or maybe they just need some reassurance.
So it's about finding that balance, right,
Right.
between AI and the human touch.
Exactly. Think of AI as your co-pilot. It handles the routine stuff and gives you those insights, while you, the agent, are still in control, guiding the client and providing that expertise.
I like that. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the good stuff, but are there any downsides to AI or challenges?
Yeah, that's a really important question. One of the biggest challenges is making sure AI is used, ethically. There's a risk that these tools could be used to manipulate clients or to steer them toward decisions that aren't, in their best interests.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. I guess it's like any powerful tool, right? It can be used for good or for bad.
Yeah.
So how can agents make sure they're using AI the right way, in a way that helps their clients and keeps their trust?
Transparency is key.
Yeah.
Agents need to be honest with their clients about how they're using AI and what data they're collecting. They also need to be aware of any potential biases in the algorithms and make sure the tools are being used fairly.
So it's not just about using the newest tech; it's about using it thoughtfully and ethically.
Exactly. Another challenge is staying ahead of the curve. AI is changing so fast, and new platforms and tools are coming out all the time. Agents need to be willing to learn and adapt, to keep learning new skills so they can stay competitive.
So it sounds like continuous learning is super important for any agent who wants to succeed.
Absolutely. But the agents who embrace these changes and invest in learning new skills, they're going to be the ones who really succeed.
Okay, I see how it all fits together. But there's one question I keep coming back to, the one that's probably on everyone's mind.
Right.
Will AI eventually replace real estate agents altogether?
Yeah.
I know we touched on this before, but I think it's worth exploring a little more.
Yeah, it's the big question, right? And it causes a lot of debate and anxiety in the industry. But here's how I see it, and this is something that both the article and your notes seem to agree on. AI isn't about replacing agents; it's about fundamentally changing what they do.
So it's not like humans versus machines. It's more like a partnership where they both bring something to the table.
Exactly. AI is great at analyzing data, automating tasks, and giving you quick access to information, but it can't replace that human touch, the empathy, the intuition, that understanding that a good agent brings. Those things are going to become even more important as AI takes over more tasks.
I'm really interested in that idea. Can we talk more about those human qualities?
Yep.
And why they'll be so important in the future of real estate?
Definitely. That's where the conversation gets really exciting. Ready to dive in.
Okay, so we've said that AI is changing things up in real estate,
Mhm.
but it's not about replacing agents completely. It's more like AI is becoming their sidekick, like their superpowered assistant. You were saying that those human skills that agents have, those are going to be even more important as AI does more. I'd love to hear more about that.
Well, think about it. Buying or selling a home, it's rarely just a transaction. It's a big deal for people. It's tied to life events, dreams, all of that. People need someone they can trust, someone who understands how important those decisions are.
Yeah, someone who can celebrate the good stuff with them
Yeah.
and be there for them when things get tough.
Exactly. And that's something that, at least for now, AI can't do. An algorithm can look at market trends and tell you what to price a house at, but it can't really understand, the emotional side of a negotiation. It can't offer support when a deal falls through, or be excited with you when you find the perfect home.
Right. So AI might be good at data and automation,
Yeah.
but it's that human element that builds trust and helps people feel connected, and it's what helps them, make a decision that feels right for them.
Absolutely. What makes a great agent? Empathy, intuition, being able to read between the lines, to understand what a client needs, even if they don't say it out loud. Those are things you learn through experience, through working with people, not something you can, program into a machine.
It makes me think about negotiation. It's not just about the numbers, right? It's
Yeah.
about understanding what both the buyer and seller want and finding creative solutions and, building a relationship so everyone feels good about the outcome.
Exactly. Negotiation is it's like a dance. You have to understand how people think, know when to do things, and be able to pick up on those subtle cues. AI can help. It can give you beta and insights, but the agent, they're the ones who lead the conversation. They're the ones who handle those tricky moments and get the best deal for their client.
So as AI does more of the routine work, the agent becomes even more important. It's less about selling and more about being a trusted advisor.
Exactly. And I think that's really empowering for agents. They can spend more time on the things that really matter, building relationships, really understanding what their clients want and coming up with strategies to help them get there.
Like AI is making real estate even more, I don't know, more human.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That's why I'm so optimistic about the future of real estate with AI. It's not something to be afraid of. It's a chance for agents to, to change what they do and become even more important to their clients.
So, what does this mean for someone who, wants to get into real estate, or for an agent who's been doing it for a while and is wondering, like, how to adapt?
The message is simple. Don't be afraid of technology. Use it to your advantage. Learn how to use AI tools to make your work easier. But don't forget about the people, those skills that make you, a good person. Empathy, intuition, the ability to connect with people. Those are important.
So it's about being good at both the, I guess, the art and the science of real estate.
Exactly. The agents who can do both, who
Yeah.
know how to use technology and also connect with people. They're the ones who will be successful in this new world.
This has been a really great deep dive. We've talked about how to use AI,
Mm-hmm.
the ethics of it, and how it's changing the role of the agent. What's the one big takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
The future of real estate is exciting, but it's for those who are ready to change with it. Embrace AI, keep learning, and never forget about the people you're working with. That's how to succeed in this industry.
I love that. I'm feeling pretty inspired right now. Actually, this has given me a lot to think about. I can't wait to see how AI keeps changing the world of real estate.
Me too. It's going to be an interesting ride.
Well, until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.